doesn't, over there.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming by. I really appreciate it, especially since for some of you it was on late notice. So I want to tell you all about what we do, what we've done in the last 2 years, see how you all can get involved, ask any questions, and at the end, we can all talk and network and share any ideas we have in general, just about art or for any personal purposes. But first of all, we'll talk about Hell's Kitchen and what we've done previously. Our tour and our festival is going to be the last weekend in June. Okay, in our Open Studio Festival, you get a map. You see artists in their home and studio, work in businesses, there's party and performances, everything is free. We had 80 locations last time. It's sort of a homemade affair. I'll show you some of the stuff that we've done in the past. We put people's names or logos on the maps, on 11,000 postcards that I'll show you. And now I bought full-page ads in the like of New York Press. The map, that was a poster on one side, the other side is a map. So it's a self-guided tour, you get it at a physical location, or you download it online. The cover is also going to be on the back of a few thousand maps, a really finely wrought thing. And we're going to have that image on 25,000 or so postcards. The postcards last time, we used a bit of a mural that we created during the first festival of '09. That's 2 minutes walk from here, on the side of the Skyline Hotel, where we had a party, an opening party in the ballroom with over 300 folks, even though it didn't have alcohol because they didn't have a license. Last year at the parties, we had all kinds of food and performances and such, and actually this is one thing, at the opening party where we had over 300 people, we sold these, but I gave away so much they were spoiled. They didn't buy too many of them. So for everybody this year, you're going to get a beautiful, any significant volunteer, Hell's Kitchen Artists and Studio Tours t-shirt. We have them in various colors. 2 kinds of yellow, white, black, lavender too. And, okay, we're developing an arts magazine that's going to come out before the festival and support the festival. And it's called At the Edge. With this magazine, it allows us, first of all, it should be second of all, but practically speaking, it's first of all, to sell ads up to a page size where we can then support our festival. Okay, this is not a money-making thing. I'm happy to, most of the time I make back the money that I put in it. But in the future, besides being able to want to pay some people to have the structure solid and make this strong, we want to be able to do more things in a larger scale, have better parties, support the artists more. I've lowered the registration fee to 25 bucks. Anybody who doesn't have it, you can pay as you wish. But if you can contribute, it's appreciated. Anybody doing any significant volunteering, it's certainly optional if you give a registration fee. Most of the places are going to sign up again to show work. But I need to have everybody possible on board, and we use that as an entry way. When you speak to them, you let them know that there's no exchange of money, they can just donate space. If they donate a lot of space for performance, I'll make them a sponsor, because that's something very useful in trade. But we just ask everybody if they would like to show work. They can have whatever work they like, and we're on the website, which I'm going to discuss with you next. People can write down how many works they want to show, what size, what style. Also, businesses will be able to give their preference in that regard. And then we match people up. So need to ask people about doing that, no money, but if they'd like to be a sponsor, we have these physical packages, and you all who want to do it will get copies of that, and you can send them the link, and they can be a sponsor, but there's no obligation. They'll do one thing, they don't need to do the other. Here you'll see just one of the full-page ads that we've developed from Ogilvy and Mather. Actually, they owe me. I don't have permission for them as a sponsor yet, but they gave us permission to have a 20-artist tour of their very private facilities, and they're very buttoned-down corporation. No nudity in their art, and I had to give them a codified list before, but they had to cancel it. Hopefully they'll become a sponsor. These are our postcards from each year, if you can focus on them, and that is one of the full-page ads that we ran last time. And so everybody in Hell's Kitchen, the businesses, will get, nobody will pay more. It's going to be 90% at least discount. And anybody interested in sales, come to me, because you'll get commission. Even if you just refer someone to me that closes, 10% commission on it. But Hell's Kitchen businesses, the ones that were our venues or signed up before as sponsors, they will pay the same amount. And this is just a local ad for Luigi's. We have in this package just tons of examples, you probably can't see it there, of our art and our writing. And the magazine, of course, one of the reasons to do it And there's pages that are cover lines describing the stories and such. There are the demographics, and this is an older version, we've significantly updated it, that show, basically sell the different areas that we're going to be placing this magazine in, which are Hell's Kitchen, of course, all of our venues, Midtown East, Chelsea, the Village, and at least a few, thanks to a gentleman recently who volunteered that in hip neighborhoods in Brooklyn. So it features some of our artists and some of the things that we've done. We'll have a really nice cover to use on a bunch of our material. Contribute anything you like to the magazine. You can do that when you register or afterwards. You can send it to me personally or do it through the website. We're using this to raise money, essentially, for the festival, but I want people to express whatever they like, but not about light, fashion-related things. Passionate feelings about the arts, about the New York City and especially Hell's Kitchen art scene. In addition, things related to successes and struggles of artists. I want stuff that is detailed, colorful, surreal, not unlike the character and the story history of the neighborhood itself. And the writing to be well-rendered, passionate feelings about art, things that are relevant to or reviews of the local art scene. And if you're interested in particular stories, just ask me about them. In the email I sent out last night, I wrote cover lines of things we'll need, like stories about the dining and establishments, bars, etc. of Hell's Kitchen. But we've already got a fair number of submissions. I could use a lot more. It'll be an online magazine. Tentatively, it's 3,100 issues that'll be distributed around there. People want to help with the distribution of that. That'd be very useful too. Okay, the festival details. Basically, each night we'll have a party and after party, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. The bulk of the festival is 12 to 6 Saturday and Sunday. Some venues can be open till 8, like the Oasis Community Garden went to dusk, and dusk is later this time. And if many of the things are hung in restaurants. If it's an establishment where it's difficult, we can adjust the hours, because people just travel around with a map and come see the art. The strongest position for an artist can be in their home, because then they can't escape. You take their email list, you give out your card, and preferably put out a little food and drink. I sent out, maybe I'll send again, a link to an article about how best to promote yourselves and open studio tours, and that is in our past email, in the mass email. So if you're not in Hell's Kitchen, we put you in a business, most frequently, or a group show. So we want more big spaces for performances, more big spaces to have group shows. But we've been able to stick people in all different places. We had video art and visual art here. But the more venues we have that we can put a lot of people in, especially a large place or a building where we can put a lot of people in, when people see a map with a lot of locations, it tends to make every boat rise. Like we had Manhattan Plaza, 2 46-story buildings, legendary because in the 70s it was designated as an artist and performance building. It's very cheap to live there. You can stay there till about a decade after you die. It's very hard to get you out of there. But you know, if I have a few people as I have in each building, it's better because people can easily see them and will go. You know, those people tend to have dozens of people rather than just a few over the weekend. If you are an artist and are in Hell's Kitchen, you want to be somewhere else, just tell me. We'll try to accommodate everything. And you don't have to pay anything if you are volunteering significantly. You don't have to pay anything to contribute to the magazine. Everybody will be online in the magazine, but we have to have space to publish it. Right now, we're going to have 104 pages inside. It's going to be a kind of funky, strange mishmash, which is, if not me, at least Hell's Kitchen. But it's 104 pages. It's going to be white, yellow, and perhaps lavender pages with a heavier, nice quality cover, nice binding, and we'll fill it with ads, but mainly content that I've described. All right, and we're going to have parties each night. We're going to have after parties. We've had them in everything from dive bars like the Port 41, which has been everything from a hippie bar to a gay bar. Now it's subtitled the Bikini Bar. We had a big party. It was our closing party last year. Dave helped out as an MC, and a bunch of people came by. We had fire dancing, spinning in that place. To more formal, larger places. And in this case, we're actually going to use a lounge bar area, it looks like, for our major opening party of a bowling alley in Hell's Kitchen. But stay tuned for that. There's a bunch of places that we're going to use that are largely nice lounges and bars. One of them is Bar 9, where I've got permission, and then they're going to be a sponsor too. I had it as my first opening party, but essentially, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be too possessive, but I'm just using it informally as mine. It's really everybody's. The more people get involved and take ownership, the better. But at our first opening party, We had a band there, and it's a beautiful place with stained glass and historical markers. This time, we're going to be able to use the stage and perform for hours, as we tended to do in our parties as much as possible. All right. Well, then I think pretty much we're done. Things that might occur to me later that are useful, or people ask me, I'll put in the newsletters. So just watch for those. That's the best way to give attention to necessary issues and respond to people's inquiries. But for now, just speak with each other, make contacts, connections, network, and if you have any additional questions, just ask me. Thank you so much for coming down.